Hello, it's your friendly neighbourhood maths teacher here with a quick maths lesson on rounding. So, rounding is something that we have to do in functional skills and GCSE maths, and there are various different reasons we might need to round our answers. So in exams, sometimes you'll need to round your answers after a calculation, and the reasons for this could be either because the question has asked you to, it might ask you to give your answer rounded to 2 decimal places or to the nearest whole number. It could be because you're performing a check by estimate, more on that in my checks video, which is coming soon. It could be because your answer is money. How many decimal places does money need to have? It needs to have 2, okay, £1.53, £2.67. You never see £3.526 unless you're buying petrol. Other reason could be because your answer has to be an integer, which is a whole number, okay? If I was trying to work out how many buses I needed to transport these dogs to prison, then it would have to be a whole number. I can't hire 2.5 buses. It would need to be 3 buses to get all of the criminal dogs on the buses. I have no idea why I use that as an example. Moving on, there are 2 rules that we need to think about when we are rounding. 2 rules of rounding. The first one is this. When we round, we always look at the next number after the cutoff. I'll explain what that means in just a second. So, if I'm rounding 749 to the nearest 10, thinking about our place value, which is the tens column? The tens is where the 4 is. It's that second column. It's where the 4 for 40 is, okay? We're going to draw a line after that. We're rounding to the nearest 10, so we're going to cut off everything after that. And we look at the first number after the cutoff, which is that 9. So when I said we look at the next number, we look at the 9. We draw a line after the tens column, so the number we're considering is the 9. Okay, that one there. The second rule of rounding is this. Numbers 1 to 4 round down, numbers 5 or above round up. So 5 or anything higher rounds up, 4 or below rounds down. This is 9, it's higher than 5, so we're going to round up, okay, giving us an answer of 750. We round up the 4, and that becomes 750, and that's that number rounded to the nearest 10. Let's practice one that looks like this, okay, remembering our 2 rules. Look at the next number after the cutoff. 1 to 4 rounds down, 5 or above rounds up. 38 to the nearest 10. We're going to draw that line after the tens column, between the 3 and the 8. We look at the 8. That's the number we look at. It's higher than 5, so we round the 3 up to 4, making it 40. And that is 38 to the nearest 10. Next one, 144 to the nearest 10. Draw the line after the tens column. Circle the next number. It's 4, which is low, so it rounds down to 140. So when we round down, that 4 stays the same, and that just turns into a 0. Okay, next one, 296 to the nearest 10. We draw a line after the tens column. We look at the 6. The 6 is above 5, so it rounds up. We round 9 up. What happens when we round 9 up? It goes to 10. So rounding 29 up goes to 30, and this becomes 300. Okay, it has a sort of a chain reaction knock-on effect, where because the 9 can't go any higher, it then has to round up the number that comes in front of that. Next kind of questions we want to look at are where we're rounding to the nearest 100 and the nearest 1,000. We still use the same 2 rules. We look at the next number after the cutoff. 1 to 4 rounds down, 5 or above rounds up. Okay, so this first one here, that's 79,716 to the nearest 100. I draw a line after the hundreds. Which is the hundreds number? It's the 7. We draw a line after that. We're looking at just the 1. We don't care about the 6, we're just looking at the 1. 1 is low, it rounds down. What's our answer? It is 79,700. But first we're going to do the next one apparently. 79,700, okay? And the next one we're rounding to the nearest 1,000. The 8 is the 1,000, we draw the line afterwards, we're looking at the 1. That's low as well, so it rounds down. What's my answer there? The 8 stays the same, it's 28,000, okay? Next thing we want to try is rounding to the nearest whole number, where you've got a decimal and we're going to round it to a whole number. Okay? We still have the same 2 rules. We look at this one, round 5.6 to the nearest whole number. We're going to draw the line at the decimal point, because that's where it stops being a whole number. We draw the line there. We look at the first decimal, which is a 6. What's going to happen with a 6? It's going to round up because it's above 5. So 6 rounds 5 up. What do we get? We get 6, and that is that rounded to the nearest whole number. Now the rules of rounding to decimal places are again going to be the same. We have 2 rules to remember. Can you remember what they are? The first one is we look at the first number after the cutoff, and the second rule is numbers 1 to 4 round down, numbers 5 or above round up. So if we look at this question here, 17.5255 rounded to 2 decimal places. First thing we do, we draw a line after 2 decimal places. So we count 1, 2, then we draw a line. And we're looking at the next number, that first 5, okay? 5 or above, round up. So that has to round up. It rounds the 2 up, which turns it into a 3, 17.53. That is our answer, okay? And that's how you round with decimal places. So no matter what we're rounding, we're always thinking about those 2 rules, and that does not change. Let's look at an exam style question to finish. So, Mo sells a total of 847 tickets this week. What is 847 rounded to the nearest 100? Have a think. What are the rules? What do we need to do? Pause me if you need to, because I'm about to tell you the answer. So, we would draw our line after the hundreds column, because we're rounding to the nearest 100, okay? So we've got 847 here. Draw a line after the hundreds column. Circle the number we're looking at, which is the 4. Does the 4 round up or down? It rounds down, it's less than 5, okay? The 8 stays the same, we put zeros after it, our answer is 800. That's the answer to the question, okay? Have a go at some of the rounding questions I've linked in the description down below. Let me know if you have any questions.